you look in your closet every morning and feel that you have nothing to wear? I, for one, am always finding myself not having enough shoes, clothes, or even handbags for that matter. Ever since I was a little girl, I was very passionate about fashion. And being an engineer, the problem solving attitude just came naturally to me. I was always trying to find a solution to this I have nothing to wear problem. Now, in a perfect world, the ideal solution would be to go out and buy more stuff, right? But unfortunately, this solution is not viable. It's not pocket or environmental friendly. But what if I tell you that you can now access unlimited clothes or handbags every month without breaking the bank? Fascinating, right? A couple of years ago, while I was still living in the US, struggling to find a job and cost effective ways to shop, I came across the concept of rental fashion, which absolutely blew my mind. I'm sure a lot of you are still wondering how renting and fashion can actually go along. Believe me, as a kid, whenever I heard the term rent, it immediately made me think of a house or an apartment. Because that's what we usually rented, right? But that's not the case anymore. You can practically rent anything off of the internet these days. Rental fashion was the solution to this I have nothing to wear problem, and I was determined to spread it across, especially in India. My entrepreneurial instincts kicked in. I decided to pack my bags, took a huge risk, said no to a great job opportunity, and moved to India to pursue this venture. Now, I knew nothing about starting a business, or even fashion for that matter, because I'd always worked as a technology management analyst. But I was motivated to take this unconventional idea ahead. I was determined that renting can change the way people, and especially the youth, shopped in India. But can renting really replace buying? Will I be able to reinvent or change the way people have been shopping for decades? I did not have the answer to those questions, but I decided to find out. Traditionally, Indians have always looked down upon renting. Owning was always preferred over renting because it conveyed your financial status to the society. If you were to say rent an apartment or a car, you were bound to hear dialogues like, "मगर शर्मा जी के बेटे के पास तो खुद की गाड़ी है." There was still a social stigma attached with renting. But fortunately for me, this mindset is starting to change, especially with the millennials. For us, access is becoming more important than ownership. We now have access to cars with Uber, houses with Airbnb, and even private jets. And all of this without the headache of actually owning these items. This generation of mine believes in the you only live once mantra. And we want to access everything at the click of a button. And that's exactly why renting works for us, because it gives us immediate access to luxury products without having to save for months before. Affordability is one of the major reasons why people are starting to get so comfortable with the idea of renting, because it allows individuals to indulge in their passions without having to spend a fortune. Gone are the days when only the rich and famous would be seen flaunting designer wear. Thanks to rental businesses, designer clothing has become more accessible than ever. How many of you have seen the movie Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhania? Okay, not a lot of people, is it? I often find myself relating with the character of Alia Bhatt from the movie Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhania, where she would do anything to wear a designer lehenga on the day of her wedding. But designer lehengas can be expensive, and are usually not even worn more than twice. But you no longer have to spend your monthly income, or in some cases, your entire annual salary on a 5 lakh rupee Sabyasachi lehenga when you can rent it at just 10% of the MRP. Not only that, you can now rent a Louis Vuitton or a Michael Kors handbag for as low as $1,000. Isn't that great? Renting does not only help you save 80 to 90% on the cost of these items, but it also reduces the maintenance cost, and you no longer have to worry about storage issues. Now, these are great added advantages, particularly amongst the young working professionals for whom job mobility has become a norm, and ownership just creates a hassle every time they are relocating. So clearly, there are a lot of benefits of renting, but businesses are built to solve a problem. And if I had to build my business around this new concept, I first wanted to understand the pain points of Indian shoppers. You know, we live in a world of social media: Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. We are obsessed with visual variety and we want to display everything, right from the food we eat to the clothes we wear to the places we visit. And since we are constantly uploading and documenting our lives and putting up hashtag OOTD pictures, it gets unavoidable to not repeat an outfit on social media. But people are starting to get judgmental. Some people are in fact buying clothes only for Instagram and are later returning them. And if you're anything like my friend who does not like to repeat an outfit more than once on social media, then renting is surely for you. And hey, I don't blame her. Did you know that the media recently called Kate Middleton a repeat offender because she repeated an outfit to Prince Harry's wedding? You know, it's actually estimated that an average person only wears about 20% of the clothes in their closet. In fact, the number of times a garment is worn or repeated has gone down by 20%. Another problem that Indians and shoppers are facing these days is fast fashion. Trends are changing by the minute these days, and it's getting very difficult to keep up with them. You simply cannot afford to buy a new or different garment every other day. According to a study by McKinsey and Company, it is estimated that the clothing production has also doubled from 2000 to 2014, with the average number of garments bought by a customer soaring up by 60%. You know, with the rise in online shopping, impulse buying is also increasing. Remember the time when you were just browsing through Facebook and accidentally stumbled upon an ad? And even though you did not need that product, you still ended up buying it. More than 50% of the purchases made online are actually unplanned. Over time, we've created a shopping pattern. We need to stop and think about our habit of going out, buying something, wearing it probably only once, saving it for years before ultimately discarding them. Have you ever wondered what the impact of these choices is? Did you know that the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry in the world? Surprised? Don't be. One rubbish truck filled with textile waste is thrown away every second globally. The clothes that you throw away end up creating a post consumer textile waste and is ultimately just dumped in landfill. And it takes hundreds of years for it to biodegrade because simply these clothing items are not created to be sustainable. It is anticipated that by 2050, the fashion industry will use up 25% of the world's carbon budget. Renting does not only have economical but environmental benefits too. If you would rather rent an outfit, the same outfit can be worn by 10 to 20 different people before it's ultimately discarded. This reduces the clothing's water, waste, and carbon footprint by 8 to 10%. Now, the concept of renting isn't new. It has existed from as long as I can remember, but it wasn't being used up to its full potential. But with the advent of technology, rental platforms are also evolving. Technology has facilitated the growth of these platforms and it's no longer just limited to clothes. You can now rent furniture, cars, gadgets, toys, and if you're living in Japan, then you can also rent family members. No, I'm not kidding. I swear, I recently came across an article in the New Yorker that spoke about Japan's family rental service that lets you rent family members like grandchildren, siblings, and even spouses. Entrepreneurs all over the world are tapping on the rise of rental commerce with the help of technology and are helping millions access what they want at a much lower price. Rental commerce is slowly starting to catch on in India as well, with the clothing rental market alone estimated to be somewhere between 2 to 3 billion dollars. People are renting more than ever these days, but there are still apprehensions about this concept. I understand that it's not going to be easy for me to change the way people have been shopping for decades, because people in general are not open to change. Change creates panic, anger, threat, denial, confusion. But once they're over the denial phase, they will be motivated to experiment and even accept if they start to see benefits. Trying to bring in a positive change and changing people's shopping habit has not been easy for me. There were times when I simply wanted to give up. The people around me thought that this idea is not going to succeed, or simply because I was having a bad day. But I was motivated to face the hurdles and still keep going because that's what entrepreneurs do. Of course, some days are going to be more difficult than the others, but you have to keep playing till you win. When I started off 2 years ago, I had no idea about how to start a business. I knew nothing about marketing. And as much as I thought that I was passionate about fashion, I did not know how this industry worked because I'd always worked in the technology sector. In fact, it took me more than estimated time to even start my venture. And I was slowly beginning to regret my decision of moving back to India. But instead of giving up, I decided to learn things and acquire skills that I did not possess. Although, let me tell you something, learning alone never helps. It's the easy part. It's the implementation of these skills that's difficult. Of course, you're going to fail, but if you are persistent, you will start to see positive results, and that's the validation that you have to wait for. A lot of time I've heard people around me complaining about not being able to start a business because they feel that they do not have enough resources, like a fancy office space, high-tech gadgets, huge stuff. What they don't realize is that they have the most important resource of all, which is the internet, where a lot of things are actually available for free. I still work from home, and trust me, all you need is a laptop and some determination. Now, my startup still hasn't made $1 million yet, fingers crossed, but what it has done is it has made me happy, it has given me confidence, and it has taught me not to shy away from failures. Worst case scenario, things are not going to work out. But that's not the end of the world. Failures create new opportunities. And trust me, if I had not been unemployed for a brief period of time in the US, I would have never dared to start my own venture in India. A vision towards Zenith does not always have to be financial, monetary, materialistic. It can be of a more sustainable and a resilient future, which can be achieved if we are persistent and are willing to accept change. Rental commerce has the potential to create a more sustainable future by reducing waste, simply because renting means less material is going to be consumed. So the next time you go out shopping, think about the clothes that are sitting in your closet, or that watch that you've always wanted to buy, or that phone that you've been saving up for. Remember that renting is a great alternative to full ownership without the cost, maintenance, and storage involved. And even though it might seem like a new concept, but there are already around 820 rental e-commerce startups in India alone. It is surely disrupting the retail sector. But the future of this concept lies in the hands of the youth today. Will they be motivated enough to try this new concept? Maybe they will, once they start to see the social, economical, and environmental benefits involved. Till then, we have to keep trying. After all, surviving is succeeding, right? Thank you.